United Church of Christ annual chicken barbecue. So now, what makes this church so different? Well, number one, the church does all the prep and cooking of the chickens themselves. They don't hire in some outside guys. No. The complete meal is made 100% with love by you. The church uses its own grill masters, cooks, and bakers to make this fundraiser a success. Number two, what makes this barbecue so special is the sauce. Yes, the sauce is unique because it is non-tomato based. Instead, this glorious barbecue sauce is made quite differently. From what everyone has been telling me, Mary Lou Spencer's husband, Al, was the one who would oversee the sauce-making operation. When I first heard about the secret sauce from Rhonda, I assumed that the church was keeping this secret recipe under lock and key. Only a couple lucky souls were able to know the recipe. But after talking with Mary Lou, and after consulting with my friend, Mr. Google, our church's sauce is not as hush-hush as I thought. Apparently, this recipe is pretty legendary. It has stood the test of time, given that it has been around for 64 years. This recipe was created by Dr. Robert Baker, who was a Cornell professor in food science and a specialty in poultry. Not poultry. Dr. Baker's chicken-making genius has been passed down from person to person to person. Now, from what I've heard, Al was the one who brought this recipe to our church. And even though that Al is no longer here, every year Rhonda invokes Al's spirit to help in making this sauce just right. Now, Al left them pretty specific instructions that were supposed to be followed, or are to be followed every year. We could say they're the cardinal rules, the commandments, for making our church's famous barbecue. Here they are. Rule number 1. Thou shalt use poultry seasoning and not chicken seasoning. There's a difference. And it will create a different taste. Rule number 2. The special sauce needs to be made the day before so that the seasonings can all come together and marry. Rule number 3. The chicken needs to be continually slathered with the sauce as it is cooking. Apparently, this is the technique that helps our chicken stay moist and the way to layer on that yummy flavor. You know the interesting thing about recipes and food is that they have an amazing ability to help us remember our loved ones. Sometimes just the smell of a special dish baking in the oven or a bite of food has the amazing ability to bring back memories, a flood of memories for a moment. In my life, my grandmothers and my mother have recipes that have been passed down from generation to generation to generation. I've watched the matriarchs of my family make these delicious dishes and sweet treats. Whenever I'm cooking Mexican food by myself, the wise words of my mother come to my ear. Don't forget the garlic. Don't forget the garlic. You'll get a stomach ache. Keep stirring that fried rice. Keep stirring it. Don't let it burn. You know, Jesus did not have any food recipes. Not any that I've seen. There's no dynamic chicken barbecue or amazing casserole that's hidden within the pages of our Holy Scriptures. But Jesus did leave us a recipe. It's a recipe for life. How we should live our life and how we should treat others. Our passage this week, as I was telling you, is a continuation of our passage from last week, where Jesus was giving his farewell speech to his disciples before he was arrested and crucified. He told them very specifically and clearly, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. He was pretty much saying, if you love me, you'll continue to live by the values that I've taught you. These commandments, these guidelines, they're pretty important. You should follow them, even if I'm not standing right beside you. When we look at the lessons of Jesus, we're left with a recipe of how we should live our lives. You know the most important ingredient that Jesus used? It was love. True love. You can't skimp on this ingredient. You can't leave it out. No, you must use it abundantly. Love is like the binding agent that holds our faith together. Without love, our faith would just fall apart. Jesus' commandment on love was actually a two-step process. He said that we should love God with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength. And we should love our neighbor as we love ourselves. It seems to me that both of these steps are important. Loving God and people together. We shouldn't just love God and then hate people. Apparently it doesn't work like that. Compassion was also a pretty important ingredient in Jesus' recipe for life. Compassion is like our poultry seasoning. You can't substitute it for something else. No, it doesn't work like that. Compassion is like the seasoning that flavors our faith. It adds dimension and depth. Beyond just loving someone, compassion is what drives us to action. It causes us to empathize with someone else's feelings and to help them. Jesus poured out a lot of compassion on people, like the woman at the well, Zacchaeus, and many others. Forgiving them of their faults and their failings, looking past their brokenness and seeing their potential. And meeting them at the time of need. In today's passage, Jesus tells his disciples that he's going to be leaving them. He's not going to be there in body anymore. They're not going to be alone. They will not be orphaned, but God's Holy Spirit is going to be with them to help them navigate through the world. You know, for me, the Holy Spirit is like a loved one in the back of my mind, reminding me not to burn the rice, reminding me that I should keep slathering your own barbecue. Maybe you'll be making your grandmother's famous potato salad or your uncle's never-fail baked beans. While you're cooking away, you may be reminded of your loved ones and the directions that they gave you. Well, just remember that Jesus also gave us a recipe for life. And the different ingredients are found in his stories and lessons. Two of these special elements are love and compassion. Love, to care and to accept someone just the way they are. And compassion, the emotion that drives us to action. To be God's hand